Hey everybody, my name is Mike Baskett and this is my wife,
Karen.
We have, first of all, just thanks for listening. We have been considering making this video, sharing our journey. It's my cancer journey, but it's our journey together, and we thought we would share it with you. We are by no means claiming any medical expertise. And I'm reading this word for word because this is not medical advice. We are not medical professionals. This is not a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment, okay?
This is simply Mike's journey, Mike's story, our journey.
It is. It's our story. It's what we've learned. It's what we've done. It's the places we've got to visit. It's the advice we've received from true medical professionals and true medical people. Some advice was good, some not so good, and we chose what we wanted to do. And again, it's my cancer journey, and we wanted to help others make some decisions with some of the information that we provide. And it all started with a true journey. So in 2017, Karen and I decided to go on this really cool road trip, and our very good friends, Kelly and Rhonda, kept hearing us talk about it, and they go, we gotta wanna go, and we're like, okay, let's go together, and so we did. And so on that trip, probably within a few days of being on the trip, I would have to go to the restroom. I'd be like, man, I've gotta go to the bathroom, guys, sorry. And so we'd pull over and I would go, and then it just snowballed. It got worse and worse and worse as we were on this trip. I felt terrible because every time, it seemed like every time we had a chance to stop, I go, we can stop again if y'all want to. And so I realized then that I had a difficult time urinating, not always being able to empty my bladder. That was part of the problem. And so I would sit back down, and within literally 30 minutes, I would have to go again. And it kind of goes back a little bit to my doctor, Dr. Fong. He's our family physician. He gives me a yearly checkup. He had told me that my prostate, after having a prostate exam, he says, yeah, your prostate's getting swollen, it's getting a little bigger, and we need to keep an eye on it. So from 2018 to 2023, essentially, we were going to our physician, we were getting updates, doing blood tests, doing all those things. And it was, I don't know, I'm looking down at my own notes, I guess maybe starting in 2021, that he said, you need to go see a urologist. And I put that off. Because I'm stubborn like that, and I don't like to go to doctors.
Hard-headed.
And so I think that was starting in 2021, and I finally, in the spring of 2022, I went to a guy, and I'm not gonna say anybody's names, but I didn't like him at all. I didn't like the fact that he was very proud, very cocky, made fun of silly little things, and I'm like, man, it's kind of serious to me, and I'm a laid back comedian type person, but I just didn't feel like it was appropriate. I was still on the outside going, I'm fine, everything will be hunky-dory great, I'll just stick my head in the sand and forget about it. So I went to him, didn't like him, but I did get a prostate, a PSA score, a prostate specific antigen test, and my test came back at 7.5. They want you to be under 4, and so that was a whoop 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 moment, and yet I still kind of was like, whatever. Okay, so that leads us into 2023. So it was probably 8 months after the first visit to the first urologist, the PSA test of 7.5. Again, we're in 2023. I liked this guy a lot better. I took another PSA test. This is, again, about 8 or 9 months. We didn't really keep track of it because we weren't thinking we had to. It was not, anything cancerous in our thoughts or in our minds. But I had another PSA test done, and it was now, my PSA was now 32. Yikes! That's like, they're like, oh, what? He goes, well, I don't think you need to panic, because he had my records from my other test and from my main doctor, Dr. Fahm, and so he said, I want to do a few checkups, and then I also want to do a urine sample to see if you have any kind of infection. And sure enough, I had an infection.
A prostate infection.
And it was interesting because I'd kind of forgotten about it, but Dr. Fahm said I had an infection, and he had treated me for that as well. And I guess it just didn't cure it or didn't make it better. So this doctor said, well, I want you to, remind myself, he said, I want you to come back in about a week, and I want you to drink a ton of water, try not to drink. He gave me a list of things not to put into my system. And he goes, then I want to go ahead and prescribe a different type of antibiotic. And I said, okay. And so I came back about a week later and did what he had asked me to do, did another urine sample, and it was infected as well, showed an infection. And so he said, well, I'm gonna put you on a really high dose, 30-day dose of an antibiotic. Well, unfortunately, in about 3 weeks from this point in time, we were going to Aruba for a vacation. And I'm like, well, we're gonna be in the sun the entire time. Well, this antibiotic, you weren't supposed to be in the sun. And so I thought, I can't do that.
Yeah.
So I wait until after we get back from our Aruba vacation, and they test my PSA again, and now it's 39. I think I went from 7.5 to 32 to 39 in the time frame of about a year. And so I said, ooh, is that bad? He goes, well, I don't think, and he said, I don't think it's cancer. He goes, don't quote me on that. He goes, I think it's the infection causing the high levels. And I said, well, that's good to know. So took the antibiotic, went back once again. I don't think we did a PSA test. There was a billing error. This is kind of silliness, but it really frustrated me that I was paying ahead of time. We were paying as non-insured. We have Samaritan Ministries, which is a Christian sharing ministry. And so I just said, I get reimbursed for those expenses. And so anyway, they double billed me, and then they told me that I didn't pay the first one, and then it was just a little frustrating. And so I was like, okay, I'm not going back. And Karen goes, you're just hiding from your problem. And I said, maybe so, but I just, I didn't have a good feeling about them doing what they did. So anyway, fast forward October and November of 2023, this is where I really started having a hard time urinating. I got to the point where I would wake up in the middle of the night and try and go to the bathroom and just have to stand there and finally be able to urinate. And it just got to the point at one point in time where I said, I don't even know what to do. I can't go at all. About a couple weeks before that, because of all this going on, we were reading and trying to learn about, what's going on with the prostate and swelling, and your diet can affect it. And so we said, let's stop sugar. And so Karen and I, on October 6th, she joined me.
2023.
Not that she had to, but yeah, October 6th, 2023, we said, let's just eliminate sugar from our diet. So we started being those folks, label watching, paying attention to everything that went in to our system. We literally quit eating anything that had sugar in it at all, which was a side note. I had a hip issue, and I love to bowl, and I was having a hard time bowling and going to tournaments and a lot of pain. And so we stopped the sugar. I had actually had some MRIs, and it looked like I had a torn labrum or perhaps a gluteus minimus. And so after we had quit sugar for about 6 months, went back, had another MRI, and all of that pain was gone. All of the swelling, all of the what looked like tears and inflammation was all gone. And so we're like, wow, that's amazing.
Sugar.
For the lack of putting sugar into our bodies. So In November 2023, we went to the third urologist that I had gone to. I had had a little bit of problems with another one, but anyway, I couldn't urinate at all, and so they said I needed to. This was doom and gloom. Put a catheter in. So here we are in November 2023. I told you just a moment ago I was starting to experience difficulty in urinating, and so I got to the point I couldn't go at all, and it was very painful. So I went to a different urologist this time. This is my third, and went to him, and the day I was supposed to go in for my appointment, this particular guy had an emergency surgery, so I had to go all weekend just dying. Bad experience, just a bad experience all the way around. A little frustrated by that whole scenario, but go in Monday morning, they drain my bladder, and it is almost 3 times as much as it should be, about 2.6 times more urine than a regular bladder should hold. And I just remember sitting there going, I was just losing weight. It was so painful.
Major relief.
Anybody that's ever experienced that knows what I'm talking about. So they put the catheter in. He said, I think you're gonna have to keep this catheter in until things get better, which I was like, that was not the news I wanted to hear. And so after lots of prayer and a lot of worry, we decided, I've been told, this is about the 3rd or 4th time, you need to have a biopsy. You need to have a biopsy. Well, we'd read that can be bad, and we were worried about that. And I know the percentage is low, that it can cause the spread of your cancer. But any percentage was a scary part for us. And so we prayed about it and thought about it.
And it had actually been recommended before that he had had a biopsy, and with one of his other urologists. And at that time, you actually were about to go through with it, and then last minute we canceled it because we just had been reading and searching and researching and praying about it and canceled the biopsy. So again, that was back in 2022
or 21.
Yeah.
It's a ways back.
A ways back.
So here, this is, again, we're in November. Had the biopsy scheduled as laid out as possible I could get it. We got Thanksgiving, we got this, we got other things going on, and really just kind of pushing it out. But we scheduled that for in January. And by the way, for those of you that think you might have prostate cancer, you do not have to have a biopsy to determine that. You can have a PMSA scan, which is non-invasive, and it highlights prostate cancer, but it also will highlight if that cancer is anywhere else in your body. It's like these little glowing.
It lights up. It just lights up on the scan.
Yeah, it glows on the scan itself.
Unfortunately, we didn't learn about that until after he had his biopsy.
Yeah.
On January the 11th.
And I was not even given that option, didn't know that information, didn't know to ask that information. And if I could do it all over again, I would absolutely 1,000 times just go straight to the PMSA. Now that's expensive compared to a biopsy, but it's non-invasive, and you don't have to worry about the spread of that cancer. And in our case, we believe it did spread my cancer, so that was just part of the story. But that's a non-invasive process, PMSA, and so that's kind of where we're at on that deal.
Yeah, his biopsy was January the 11th, and we didn't get results from that until March the 4th.
Yeah. And so
way too long to have to wait for something like that.
Absolutely. That was just, it was bungled. It was not well done, any of those kinds of things.
And we weren't even given the proper results, in our opinion. We were just told, you have cancer. No stage was told, no explanation, just a phone call from the doctor.
Yeah, it was a text. No, it wasn't a text. It was a voicemail. I heard it over voicemail.
Literally a voicemail.
Very unprofessional.
By the way, you have cancer.
So that urologist is fixing to go out the door, and we'll start with the 4th urologist in the year 2024. So as Karen just mentioned, in January 11th of 2024, I had the biopsy. They also did an ultrasound. They measured my prostate at 75 cubic centimeters, which I asked them at the time, is that big? And the technician, we'd already been joking around a little bit. He goes, well, that ain't gonna win you any prizes at the county fair, but yeah, he goes, it's swollen. And I said, okay. So February 22nd, 2024,
we learned about the PSMA
yeah,
scan.
PSMA scan. So I said, well, I want to do that. And so we scheduled it. Through the testing, the results of the biopsy, the silly, voicemail versus a face-to-face, or, at least an active voice on the telephone telling you that kind of news. We announced on March 4th, 2024, we got the diagnosis that I had stage 4 prostate cancer. That is...
No, we didn't know it was stage 4 prostate cancer.
Oh, that's right.
This is where we had no information whatsoever, other than you have cancer.
Yeah, I had the prostate cancer diagnosis, but not the stage 4 part, March 4th, that we announced that. March 6th, we had our first consultation with Dr. Taylor, and I'll let Karen tell you how we kind of got to know him or learned about him.
So my chiropractor, Dr. Callahan Maynard, that we know very well, he's a family friend and they go to church with us. He had a close family member that had cancer, and they had learned about Dr. Taylor. And so he calls one day after hearing that Mike was diagnosed with cancer, and he asked if he could come over and pray with us and share some information with us. Sorry, I'm gonna get a little bit emotional here. He knocked on our door, came in, we sat right over there on the couch, and he prayed with us for a long time and shared this information about Dr. Taylor and how he had helped his family member and that they were in remission and doing well. And so he described it all to us, what Dr. Taylor could do for us and help us with, and that it was going to be very expensive, and we just needed to be prepared for that. And at that point, we were like, we don't even care. We're going to go for this and go see Dr. Taylor.
And so our first consultation with him was March 6th of 2024, and was at ease the entire time with him. This man was gentle. He was very knowledgeable, wise can be, set us at ease.
Just made us feel so good about the situation, if you can feel good about a cancer situation.
Yeah, and he himself, has prostate cancer, doesn't mind sharing that with his patients and talking about some of the treatments that he does himself. So that was calming. One of the things we do is a high dose vitamin C infusion. It has shown results with cancer, and I know there are those in the medical profession who will say that's not true, but there's plenty of research out there that proves that is very true. Dr. Taylor could quote you 100 sources, and I couldn't because I'm not as aware of it as he is. But I started the vitamin C infusions. It was actually really good for my body as well. It just gives you a lot of strength. It's 40,000 milligrams. It's very good for my particular case. April 22nd, we decided that we were very happy with Dr. Taylor, not so happy with that particular urologist at the time, but we thought we're gonna get as many opinions as we can. So friends helped us, some money was raised to help us, and we went to the Mayo Clinic up in Rochester, Minnesota, and that place is unbelievable. Somehow, by the grace of God, we got in with the guy, the very best of the best. Normally doesn't see patients on a Monday. We show up on a Monday and they're like, how did you get in with him? And we're like, we just scheduled an appointment. I go, well, he doesn't see patients on Monday. It's like, well,
he's seeing us.
And so met with him. His almost immediate interface with us. They went over our PSMA results in a way better way than anybody else had up at this point in time.
Well, that was the first time we actually saw Mike's PSMA scan. They pulled it up on screen. I was very emotional. This was literally the first time we had ever seen it. So it was almost like hearing that he had cancer all over again for the first time. They even asked me, why are you so emotional? Because this is kind of the first time hearing it, seeing it light up in his neck,
lymph nodes,
his back,
legs.
his spine, his hip, his prostate, his just everywhere. It was pretty shocking and emotional,
And first time we heard stage 4.
yes.
Prostate cancer. Before it was like, oh, I've just got prostate cancer. Now it's like, no, you have stage 4.
And that metastatic means, that it's spread. And if prostate cancer spreads throughout your body,
It's always prostate cancer. If it's in my ribs, it's in my bones, it's in my back, it's still prostate cancer. It's
Yeah.
just spreading that PMS
it's not like
picks up on it.
It's not like he has bone cancer or kidney cancer or any
Rib cancer.
rib cancer or neck cancer or whatever. It is prostate cancer throughout the body.
Yeah, that has metastasized.
Yeah.
So we went there. My PSA was now at 110. It had gone from 39 to 110
And
after the biopsy.
That's scary to hear, honestly. Very scary to hear.
Yeah, when they don't want it over 4, 110 is a long ways from 4. Just like 39 was scary and 32, but from 39 to all of a sudden to 110 was alarming. His automatic response is, "Hey, you're a young guy. You won't look bad if you lose all your hair. You need to go do chemo, radiation. We need to attack this. We need to get after it."
We can put your port in today.
Yeah, we can put your port in. We can send you up north to Twin Cities, and you can start the chemo while you're up here. And Karen and I were like, we've already prayed about this, talked about this. Chemo and radiation's not on the docket for us. So he's like, well, that's the only thing that's going to work. And we're like, well, we've read other things. We talked to this Dr. Taylor, and we were talking about this SOT therapy, and he basically just laughed and said, we were like, hey, we're off the sugar. That doesn't matter. We're on a specialized diet. Oh, that doesn't matter. Doesn't matter what you eat. Doesn't matter what you drink. Doesn't matter how you do what you do. You just need chemo and radiation. And to us, that was not going to be an option. But we said, well, we're going to pray about it. So we went, tearfully. And I will say this, I'm not saying anything bad about this particular man, but he was trying to sell us, I felt like I was getting a car sold to me in a room, and bringing in a couple extra people and talking about all the things that they do and how good they are and blah, 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 and made fun of this RGCC SOT therapy that's in Europe that has shown great success rates, but he didn't know anything about it, and yet he said they were just trying to steal my money.
And that's through
Or
Dr.
our money.
Taylor, the one that's doing the vitamin C infusion, and the man that we felt so at ease with is the one that recommended the RGCC blood test.
Yeah, he's not interested in just my money. He's interested in me. He's interested in Karen. He cares very much about his patients. He knows every single person that walks in, their name immediately, and very much cares about his patients. So anyway, we prayed about it. We decided not to do that. Talked to Dr. Taylor. He said, if they recommend a hormone therapy, go for that. It'll slow it down while we're working on it. His way of treating cancer is slowly. He doesn't want to kill tons and tons and tons of cells. You have 51 trillion cells in your body. You don't want to kill them all at once the way that certain drugs do. And so it creates blood infections and causes some problems. So he works. He said, hey, let's slow it down and we'll work on it, and we'll just pound away at it. And he goes, we'll take care of this. Don't worry about it. So I did take, the shot of Firmagon. That was during that visit, April 22nd.
That was at the Mayo Clinic.
And that was at the Mayo Clinic, and we came home, prayed about it, and said, we're done.
And I will tell you, this guy is tough. But to watch him get that Firmagon shot in the stomach was not cool. Doubled over in pain, just...
Couldn't even walk hardly.
Right there, I couldn't imagine him having to go through that and the other harsh treatments, and just watching him suffer through all of that. That was just really hard on me, hard on him, hard on us together. So we really got a peace while we were there at the Mayo Clinic. We kind of were like, why are we even here? Why did God send us here? Why, what are we here to learn? Well, we learned a lot. We learned that chemo and radiation were not for us, and that we needed to come back home and just move forward with the Dr. Taylor treatment, and the other things that the urologist here were going to help us out with.
Yeah, and I think that, it was almost like, hurry, get it done now. You've got to do this now. And it was like people, I think, panic or feel panic.
Pressured.
When somebody, I think getting some second opinions, getting time to kind of stop and think about some things and pray about some things and get some second and third and fourth opinions, read what you can read. Yes, my PSA levels were going up, and yes, my cancer had spread. But overall, with the exception of having this catheter up to that point, all I had done in my entire body, in my physical life, was experience a little inflammation, which went away when we quit sugar, and just discomfort when I was trying to urinate. So it wasn't like, all of a sudden I'm hurting all over my body. So we took our time, we thought things through, and we decided to go with Dr. Taylor. So I've had the biopsy, I've had the PMSA test, we've met with Dr. Taylor, we've met with a urologist, and we've just got home basically from the Mayo Clinic. And I wasn't happy with the first urologist, so I got my fourth urologist and hit the jackpot, Dr. Sean Doyle, who's amazing. Again, we had kind of a rough experience, not so great experience with the nursing staff of his office and things like that. But I'm going to tell you this: if you don't like your doctor, or if you don't like the person that's taking care, you have an uneasy feeling, go find another one. Mm-hmm. Shop around. I know that sounds kind of crazy, but you'll find that there are some who have an incredible bedside manner, so to speak. They have great personalities. They care about you, and I would highly recommend you finding the one that fits your lifestyle and your personality, so to speak. So Dr. Doyle, great. I mean, great. Loved him, still love him, love his staff. It's just incredibly good. He did say, and I will say this the very first time, he goes, if you were my brother, I'd tell you to start chemo. And I told him, I said, well, man, I sure am glad I'm not your brother. And we kind of joked around about that, but that was his advice for us as well. And we told him all the things that we were doing. He says, well, man, he goes, you need to go with your gut. You need to go with what you feel is the right thing. So,
and let me remind you that this is 5 months in, and Mike still has a catheter.
Yeah, miserable. Now I will admit, the one thing that was cool about the catheter, the only thing that was cool about the catheter, is I went to bed at night and I could sleep. I just had to get up in the morning and empty the bag. So I slept through the night. Whereas at other times I was getting up 2 or 3 times a night, as I do now. I probably get up twice in the night, sometimes 3 times, but I'm thrilled out of my mind to get up and do that versus having a catheter. And so anyway, we get to May 20th of 2024, take the second dose of the Firmagon. I'm gonna get a different shot in about a month. The Firmagon kind of hits it hard and heavy, starts dropping the testosterone hormone. It essentially just erases, and stops the testosterone from being produced in my body, and that helps with the prostate cancer. So I had a chance to meet with a very, very popular, good speaker, nutritionist, Chris Johnson. Started eating better. We started taking spirulina chlorella. We started drinking wheatgrass. We got this organic Alaskan cod liver oil, and that was part of getting my body as strong as it can be to fight this cancer off, and making sure I was strong. That everything about my body was good. My white cell blood count, my red blood cell count, everything needed to be working hard. My immune system needed to be strong, and so all of these things that we're doing, that's what they're trying to do for me through Dr. Taylor, as well as what Chris Johnson recommended. So April 24th, the coolest thing ever. I kind of went back a little bit, had the blood drawn for the Greek blood test, the RGCC clinic. The doctor's name is Dr. Ioannis Papasoteriou.
You sure you said that right?
I'm sure that wasn't even remotely close. His name is this long. He's a Greek doctor. I thought it was interesting because I think both of us think Dr. Taylor is one of the smartest individuals.
Definitely.
I mean, he goes through a blood test and knows everything about everything. I mean, he's a doctor, I get that, but he's smart about everything. He remembers. I think he's probably got a
photographic
memory. I don't. And so, he's just brilliantly smart. And so when he was talking about, and I'm just going to call Dr. Papa because it starts with Papa Sotiriou. He just said, man, this guy's a genius. This guy's brilliant. I mean, he just blows me away with his knowledge. Number one.
He's smarter than you.
You're blown away with him. I said, we're blown away with you. And so he said he's the smartest guy he has ever met. So one of the things we talked about with Dr. Taylor was that we don't want to open pores and pour chlorine in. So he says, do you take hot baths or showers? And I'm like, man, I live in the shower.
Every day.
I take really long hot showers. And he said, you can't do that anymore. And I was like, oh, and he goes, unless you get a water treatment system. I was like, sign me up, So we got a water filtration system from Rainsoft and got that all installed.
It's a whole home filtration system and then also reverse osmosis drinking water.
Yeah, so we're drinking well, we're eating well, we're trying to exercise.
We cut the sugar
completely out. I'm taking the vitamin C infusions. I've got the specialized SOT therapy, which SOT stands for Systematic Oligonucleotide Therapy. It is a very targeted therapy for your specific cancer. It's a custom treatment for your specific cancer. What works with your cancer is going to work through this SOT therapy.
And the SOT therapy is a result of the RGCC blood test.
That Dr. Taylor recommends and uses in his treatments of cancer and other things. So we got that water treatment system April 29th. After some tests were done, I was feeling like maybe I could take, with all the things going on, maybe I could take the catheter out. We moved it on the 29th. Was not a good idea. It does not fit my lifestyle very well. So on April 30th, put the catheter back in. They prescribed me a drug called Xtandi. It's kind of a funny story because, here's
this was the urologist, by the way.
Yeah, 60 capsules.
A 1 month supply.
1 month supply, and talking about insurance and how we pay for our Samaritan Ministries. We pay in advance and then they just reimburse us for costs. And so she looked at me and she's kind of like, do you know how much this costs? We're like, no. She's like, $35,000.
A month.
We're like, what? $35,000 a month? She goes, I said, that's $420,000 a year. I said, that's ludicrous. And she's like, we'll try and get you on a program. So they give us this bottle. Karen's guarding it in her purse,
And basically, this is a testosterone blocker.
Yeah. That goes along with the shots that you take.
Right.
It's the oral that you take daily to help out with the shot that you get every 6 months.
So that was a free sample that they gave us, thank goodness, because we did not have $35,000 to fork over.
Yeah, and then they're trying to get me on a program where we can get it at a reduced rate or even free. So we're jumping through hoops to do all that.
We didn't qualify.
We didn't qualify, but they did give us a second supply while we're doing that. So we had $70,000 drug. Took that for a little bit, and then she said, well, we've got another drug that's really, really good. It's been around a long time as well. It's called abiraterone, and you take it with prednisone. And I said, well, how much is the abiraterone? And about $100. I was like, what?
Where was that one the first time?
Let me just do that one. All right, so we take that, and I'm supposed to take it twice a day, and blah, blah, blah. June 12th, I get the new shot of Eligard. Now, from this point forward, every 6 months, Eligard. In June, switch to abiraterone, the prednisone. Again, both of those drugs together is $106. We use
Mark Cuban.
Mark Cuban's drug company. Fantastic, wonderful. So July started having spasms with the catheter. And they just
That was so miserable for him.
They just want to throw drugs at everything, and I'm like, I haven't had that. I've had this catheter now for all this time, and I've not had spasms one time. And we've learned a lot about that as well. And their staff was like, "Oh, I'll just give you a drug for it." I'm like, I want a different catheter. This is different from the one they put in before. Oh, it doesn't matter. Well, obviously it does because I'm having spasms. So I went through that for a little while. That was not fun. I'm continuing to do my vitamin C infusions. My PSA's gone from 110 now. I think I missed one of them because it was at 2.77 and now it's 1.38. Fantastic.
That is when we were just like over the moon excited. I think we were at a funeral luncheon that day when we received that phone call, and we were sitting at a table with a group of people from our church and some friends at this luncheon after this funeral, and we both just lost it, and everybody at the table lost it with us, celebrating that his PSA had dropped to 1.3.
Yeah, super, super cool. So August 20th, started the SOT therapy. After receiving all the tests back, I'll explain it the easiest way I can. There are 46 known natural agents that can help fight cancer. They put those in petri dishes. They put the cancer cells, which they get out of the blood testing, they put it in the petri dishes. They clone the cells to the millions, if not billions. They can only use a certain amount of whatever those 46 agents are to put in those petri dishes to see what works for your particular type of cancer.
What's most effective on it?
Most effective. The highest rate will be 40%. They come back, they've got a chart, and it rates all of these 46 known agents that they do this blood testing. And so that all took place, I think I just said that, April 20th, or August 20th, I'm sorry. So once I got the test back of the RGCC testing, we went over that with Dr. Taylor, and he started specifying that, and then he orders this particular SOT therapy for me. It's liquefied, it's in an IV. You take it, half of it 1 month, and then the next half the next month. And it's very, very targeted toward your type of cancer. Excuse me. And then you take a lot of supplements based on those identifying markers. So it's very tailored. Again, Dr. Taylor tailors you this beautiful therapy based on all that testing. In September, very first part of September, I thought, you know what? With all of the things going on, surely my prostate is not as swollen as it used to be. It's not as big. And so I said, can we remeasure, can we do an ultrasound of my prostate at this point in time to determine if all of these therapies are working? And they're like, well, that's probably not gonna work. I said, but don't forget, I'm doing all this other stuff too. And I said, I would like an ultrasound. So they do an ultrasound, and now my prostate is only 55 cubic centimeters, almost a 30% reduction in size. And I'm like, so that means
that was exciting.
that it's not shoving against my bladder, it's not blocking off anything. Can we take the catheter out again? And he goes, well, you can do it. And I went, what? And so he gives me these catheters I can self-catheter with.
If necessary.
Won't talk about that very often. I did do it. It's not a fun thing to do. But I did have to self-catheter about 3 times, and then after that, been gone. Hallelujah. Praise God. I mean, I have not had the catheter since that moment in time. It was the first part of September. It was September 2nd, almost 10 months. We removed it. Life is great. Haven't had any problems since. And it sounds almost silly, but every time I go to the restroom, I'm like, thank you, Lord, for allowing me to go to the restroom. Thank you for allowing me to urinate. And,
that was actually very emotional too.
I was.
I remember hearing him go and crying whenever I heard him go for the first time, because it had been, what, 9 months at
10
this?
months.
Oh, 10
Almost 10
months
months
at this point
Yeah.
with a catheter.
I sent out a little meme. It's a little boy in a little car seat in the back seat of a car, and he's so excited. And I sent that out to all my friends, which is the most hilarious thing, because it's kind of like you know, a 2-year-old going to the bathroom for the very first time. I TT'd in the potty, and that's what I wrote. I TT'd in the potty. Which,
we're like an open book with this whole process.
yeah, I mean, you have to be. You know, you just have to be. It's your health, and all of a sudden, you know, the little things in life are, hey, I can go to the bathroom by myself, and that was so exciting. So, did a test on October 2nd. That was September 2nd when the catheter is removed. October 2nd, my PSA came back at 0.53.
Praise
Hallelujah,
the Lord.
good news. Dr. Doyle quotes to Karen, and he says,
he's done a hell of a job.
yeah, he's
Sorry
done
about
a hell
that.
of a job, you know, and it's like he was so excited. He's like, man, I can't believe, you know, what's going on. And so we're like, well, it's this European test. And again, I told him, I said, aren't you glad I didn't do the other? You know, I didn't do your suggestion.
He was pretty shocked by Mike's results.
In a good way. And his physician's assistant's been shocked by and learned from all the things that we're doing. So that was October 2nd. October 18th, I got my second SOT infusion. My testosterone measured 0, so the hormone blocker is working. My PSA on December 18th was 0.28. So it's just drop. You know, the testosterone blocker, the hormone blocker is working. Everything's good. So I'm supposed to have my 6-month shot, and I'm like, no, not doing it. And she's like, well, I highly recommend that you do. And I said, look, I think what's working.
She, as in the physician's assistant.
Yeah, she's wonderful, and she's doing her job. And she's like, I would not recommend you not taking the shot. And I said, well, I need to know which one's working. I mean,
Which therapy?
I know they're both working together, hand in hand. But eventually, what Dr. Taylor is doing is going to be the therapy that's going to be the one that we feel like is going to cure my cancer and put me in perfect health and let my body heal itself, versus trying to kill a bunch of cells to get rid of the bad and then also kill the good. So we just didn't want to go that route. So I decided I'm not doing that. December 18th, no shot. I had started lessening the abiraterone and the prednisone. They wanted me to take it twice a day, each one of those pills twice a day. Never did that. I only did it once a day. After about a month and a half, I just did it every other day. After about 2 months, 3 months, I only took it every other day, or every third day. And then I took it once a week, and then I just quit taking it completely. And yet my numbers were still dropping. And so I was like, oh, well, it's not because of that, because I'm not even taking it. It's partially because of the stuff that's in my body, as well as all these other things we're doing in a natural way. And so I'm still doing the SOT therapy. I'm still doing the vitamin C infusions. I'm still doing all the supplements. I'm not doing any prescriptions, and my PSA levels are falling. And so even though our physician's assistant was not happy with me, it worked out the way it needed to. We also do, some of you may have heard of Joe Tippin's protocol. He uses a dog dewormer, and people go, oh my goodness, now you're really going redneck on us. But he was a man, I'll just let you do that. Do your own research on Joe Tippin. I don't want to give advice one way or another, but when you have somebody who has a life-threatening disease and is told you might as well just go home and write your will, you don't have much more time to live, and now he's been alive for well over 10 years by taking a dog dewormer along with some other things, that's something you should probably look into. And so that's on you, not on us. We're not recommending one way or other, but I do the Joe Tippin, not as much as I did at the very beginning, but all of these results have been very, very good. And so that's where we're kind of at as we enter into 2025. I just mentioned the last thing, that our physician assistant was not happy with me, but I was impressed with her because she's like, I don't know anything about what you're doing. But then the next time we met with her, she was reading and researching and studying. So I was happy with her about that particular part of it, because she didn't just dismiss it. She read about it and learned about it. So anyway, so here we are, we're 2025, but we're not even gonna start until we get to March, because January, February, March just did what we've been doing. You know, we even did SEACT That's something for you to research and look into as well. There are a lot of other natural things that you can do, and it's up to you to do that particular research. But we get into March 5th, 2025. I did a PSA blood draw and kind of a checkup. So I was supposed to have that shot back in December. I got off all the prescriptions. I got away from having that extra Eligard shot. And so I did the PSA blood draw, a checkup, blood pressure, blah, blah, blah. Get our stuff back on March 10th. My PSA had gone back to 2.77. Still under the 4-point threshold, but definitely not where it was at the 0.28. And so after talking with Dr. Taylor, considering where we were at, we said, okay, well, let's go back, take the Eligard shot again. My testosterone was at 299 after being at 0. So after being off of that for a little over 3 months, obviously my testosterone started to come back, and it was, the testosterone helps to feed the prostate cancer. So we're like, okay, well then our things that we're doing are helping as well, but we're just not quite where we need to be yet. And so retook the Eligard shot. I always joke I'm a bowler, 300 is a perfect game. And so I was like, my testosterone's at 299. I'm like, man, didn't quite get to 300. So, but we went and knocked the testosterone back down for a while, allowed the things that we're doing to work as well. We're not in a hurry. We're not in a panic. We're seeing good results. Things are going the way they need to. So that's a good thing. And so decided to take the shot of Eligard. It takes them a little while to get that together. So we took that a couple weeks later. It was 9.5 months later, not the 6 months. And so still happy with the results, happy with what's going on. We're learning as we go along. So March 17th, I had a new blood draw for the SOT therapy. So you want to do that about once a year to see what was working, what's not working. Do that particular draw. I also had a physical exam with my regular doctor, Dr. Fong. March 27th, I got the Eligard shot because it takes a little while to get it prepped. I started back with that Biraterone and the prednisone once a day. And I think after 2 weeks, I went to it every third day and kind of did, and I'm not taking it.
He just weaned himself off of it.
I just take it when I feel like it and go against probably the advice I should be listening to. But I know my body, and I feel like my body feels really, really good and feels very healthy compared to what it did. Which I did not know after seeing some old photos how bad I looked with the cancer when the cancer had got to its worst point. So I love the fact, I was going to say that more toward the end, how many times people say, well, man, you look good. I'm like, thank you. Like I looked bad before, and apparently I did.
You had a rough patch.
But yeah, there was a rough patch in there. So April 3rd of 2025, God is good. And God is so good. All these prayers from all over the country and even other countries. People are sending cards and letters and thoughts and prayers and notes and emails and just incredible outpouring of love for us. And so God is just good. He's answering those prayers. My circulating tumor cells were at 3.6. And you say, well, what does that mean? Well, a year before that, they were at 6.5. So 3.6 times 2, 7.2, 6.5 was where they were at. They almost dropped in half. And Dr. Taylor was like, Mike, I have never seen anybody's numbers drop that much, that fast. And that's just fantastic.
It's amazing.
He was amazed. And so we were amazed. We're like, oh, this is so cool. And so lowest drop ever that he'd ever experienced. I start all the new supplements for the SOT therapy because certain things are going to work better than others. And some of the same things were working. I did a new PSMA test in April 8th, 2025.
That we had to really push for. This again, your body, your journey, if you need tests done or want these scans done, you sometimes have to push really hard for them because they don't want to do them. The doctors don't want to do them. But we did. We pushed really hard for this test because we wanted to know where his numbers were, where his markers were, and compare results.
Yeah, absolutely. And so that was April 8th, after that, I did a chelation therapy. Did not know this before, but some of the things they put it's a radioactive material that goes into your bodies to light this PSMA, or to light up the prostate cells. And so he said, oh, you've got to have a chelation therapy and get
Taylor.
Yeah, get that stuff back out of your body. And to tell you how much, this is a side note, but Dr. Taylor cares for his patients. He was going to cancel a trip to come into the office to give me that because of my PSMA test. And I was like, well, Dr. Taylor, you don't have to cancel your trip. He goes, no, Mike, you have to have a chelation therapy because that is terrible for your body. And so I said, well, let me just move the PSMA test. You tell me when it's available for you. I said, it's not a huge deal. I can always change the test date. And so that's what I did. And I was just so thankful for him and his concern that he would literally cancel
He's just a good
trip to make sure I'm going to be okay. And so I did the chelation therapy that particular afternoon after the PSMA test, which chelation removes heavy metals from the body. And so at this point in time, I'm taking abiraterone and prednisone once a week, which is not very long after that. I quit it completely. April 17th of 2025, I got my first new formula IV of the SOT therapy. April 27th, 2025, my PSA was back to 1.46 from the 2.77.
So it dropped a bit.
Which is great. You know, that's Eligard shot was just a month previous, so obviously that helps with the PSA. On May 1st, I did a bone density scan. They thought that was very important because of all the things that are going into my body, the things that are happening, and my bone density was perfect. They did a bladder scan, and my bladder is completely emptying the way it's supposed to, so that was good. And here comes the good part. I might get a little emotional on this one. So,
Me too.
Okay.
So the PSMA,
Dramatic pause.
the PSMA test that he had done April 8th, we're now in May. We get the results, and
My tumors that were in my left clavicle, there were two pretty good size, and I failed to mention this when Karen and I are out working, and I thought I got stung by something or got bit by a spider because I had this swollenness, and we had carried some logs, and I said, oh, it's just that. But no, it was actually the cancer
lymph nodes.
in my lymph nodes had swollen up big, almost the size of marbles, I would say.
I would say golf ball.
They looked, the swelling looked like a golf ball size. So that was very concerning.
But that was way back.
Yeah, that was way back. But so anyway, I had two lymph nodes that had cancer in with cells, and gone. They're gone. This is a year later, and the lymph nodes are gone. The tumors in my right rib area.
The lymph nodes are not gone. The tumors are gone.
Yeah,
the swelling in the lymph nodes totally
the
gone.
Cancer in the lymph nodes are gone. Yeah, the lymph nodes hung around. They're still there. And then the tumor in my right rib area, I believe there were 4. They shrunk as much as 70, 80, and 90%, depending on, there was either 270s and 180 and 190, or 280s and 170 and 190, but very much shrunk as a result of all the things going on. The tumors in my spine, which were nerve-wracking, shrunk from 60 to 70 to 80%, and the tumors in my left hip shrunk the least, but they still shrunk 50 and 60 and 70%. Is that not amazing?
That's amazing.
We
God
were
is good.
We were just, oh my goodness, you know. The only negative from that April 28th test and all the things that we learned from that in that regard was I had another prostate infection, and so I had to take another antibiotic for that, and haven't had one since. So this is all, you know, this year. And so May 28th, I had an exam with Dr. Fromm. All my tests came back good. July 1st, you know, I'm not taking any abiraterone, not taking any prednisone any longer. Put those back in the cabinet, hoping that, you know, I'm still going to get all of these good results. That's good. So let's see, that was in July. September 27th was when I was supposed to, this year, I was supposed to have a 6-month Eligard shot. I chose not to do that, just like I chose not to do it in December of 2000, 24 and waited an extra 3.5 months. We're going to probably do that again, maybe wait 4 months before we do that testing, and hoping that all of the things that we're doing are really starting to take a stronger effect. I'm not taking the Abiraterone or the prednisone. September 27th was supposed to be that shot. And so, big day. Move all the way to October 23rd. I'm gonna have my blood drawn. Gonna do the specific test for my prostate, the PSA, a couple other things, but 72 different tests are going to be done in regards to all that's taking place. We got that test result back on November 3rd, 2025, in Dr. Taylor's office, getting my vitamin C infusion, and had a consult with him, consultation, and he started going over the test results. My PSA is 0.30, almost exactly where it was at. Last year at the 6-month mark, it was 0.28, if you'll remember. And that was with a little bit stronger regimen of prescription, whereas this time I'm not taking anywhere near the same prescription. I am taking the Eligard, and I was supposed to have it again on September 27th. And here we are a month and a week later, and my numbers are still good. My white blood cell count, great. My red blood cell count, great. I love this one. My platelet count, perfect. He said the word perfect at least
loved hearing
4
that.
or 5 times. Yeah, I love that word. My LDL was superb. My HDL needs to do a little bit better, but it's offset because of the LDL, and some of you guys know what that is, others don't. It's
cholesterol related.
Levels. Cholesterol was great. 72 markers that he went over with us. 72 markers. Only 7 were not good, superb, or perfect. Where he said a little bit of concern, not so concerned, but just letting you know it's here. There were about 4 of those where he goes, I'm not really that concerned, but it's not quite in the area that we want them to be in. They can be worked on with diet changes, supplements, exercise, and life change behaviors. The best part, no prescriptions, no drugs, no synthetic materials, just God-made remedies, right? So, there was one sadness.
What's that?
One sadness. He told me that I couldn't eat raisins like I eat raisins.
Mike needs to lay off the sugar. Mind you,
So-
he does not eat sugar.
Unless it's in something that's natural.
Natural.
I mean, there's sugar in an
Fruit.
apple.
Yeah,
there's
things like that.
Sugars in grapes. I try not to eat grapes because I know that they are higher up on the glycemic index, but
Raisins are even higher.
Aaron just eat raisins.
Dried
and
fruit.
And I just get in a bad habit. We snack, and so a raisin with some pecans to me are just heavenly. Ever since I was a little kid, I've loved raisins. And so I just said, okay, cutting raisins out, but I haven't cut them out. I've actually gone in there Monday night and I grabbed 1 raisin and ate 1 raisin. And then Tuesday afternoon, I guess early evening, I walked in and I grabbed 1 raisin.
Funny.
And today I grabbed 2 raisins for breakfast. And I'm not doing more than 2 raisins, so I'm gonna do 2 raisins, which I don't think is gonna hurt me that bad
No.
though. But bought some different fruits and bought some different things that are low on the glycemic index. You can look up the glycemic index for fruits and vegetables. Each one of them have higher, like a 3%, 6%, 15, 30% contents of sugar. And so, when you have cancer, and there are people that would argue with us and say, oh, it doesn't matter, sugar doesn't cause cancer. There are plenty of tests that show that it does. It do. And there are people that believe that, and I believe that, and I think that the sugar has affected one of my tests because I don't eat sugar. I literally don't eat anything that has sugar in it that I know of.
He's been very disciplined.
I feel pretty solid in just being able to say no,
And I have as well. I've only
Yeah.
had 2 splurges in this 2-year journey. So that's pretty good.
Yeah, and I think that you can do that too. I just want to be able to say that.
We have a lot of people that when we're sharing what all we've done, and when the first thing out of our mouth is sugar. You've got to cut sugar. And you would be surprised how many people say, I can't do that. I can't do that.
They will say, I'm not doing that.
Yeah. Like, well, then you don't want to get better. You don't want to improve your life. You don't want to make changes. You're not going to get better.
People want to take a pill instead of changing what they can do themselves. We want to throw a pill at it. We want to throw a Band-Aid at it. But in some cases, you don't put a Band-Aid on a broken leg. You have to do way more than that. And so when you get a cancer diagnosis, you pay attention. And my prayer for you is that you do that before you get one. It is unbelievable. They're building a cancer hospital, cancer wing, like literally every week in this country. We have the highest rate of cancer of any country in the world. It's ridiculous, the cancer rates here. Between our diets and just the accessibility of everything under the sun. Now I'm preaching and I'm not telling my story, but we just see that is happening. So it's my journey. It's my journey. This is what we've done, and we've seen such success. And I'm a very healthy person. My favorite part, I said it earlier, I'm gonna say it again. People come to me and go, man, you look so good. And they're like, my bowling friends come and go, dude, you look so good. What in the world are you doing, that you can look that good and have stage 4 prostate cancer? And I said, I'm just eating what God made for me and trying to stay away from synthetic and processed food. So you don't go with, well, this is what we do. This is the only thing that you can do. I don't agree with that. I don't think that's true. That is giving advice. I'm saying to you, look it up.
Get another
European
opinion.
SOT therapy is amazing. We don't have it here. The reason we don't have it here is no one else knows how to do it. They can't do it. What Dr. Papa is doing is one of a kind, and he's a brilliant, brilliant man. There's plenty more to look into. So I will end with this. This is not medical advice. We are not medical professionals. This is not a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. We want to make sure people understand, hey, we're not telling you to do something. We're suggesting to you what has worked for us. For me specifically, I think she's as healthy as she's ever been as well. We've made some great life changes with our food and our water and going out to eat and doing those things. Do we go out to eat? Absolutely yes. Do we eat sometimes things that we probably shouldn't eat? Absolutely yes. But for the most part, just like Karen made chili the other day, all organic ingredients, all organic everything, fantastically good food and just extremely healthy. So we'd encourage you to do that, and we'd encourage you to pay attention to the things that you put into your body.
And I have a video that I released back whenever we started making all these changes. I'm going to link it down in the description for you. And I list and talk about every organic and natural thing that we use and do in our home, from our shampoos to our dishwasher detergent to our toothpaste, laundry, all the things that we use in our home, cleaning products, things like that. I talk about the books that we've read, Chris Johnson, Chris Warwick. There's just a lot of good people out there with good information. And once you start looking for natural and holistic and alternative treatments, you're going to be amazed what just starts showing up in your news feed and the information that you'll find that they try to keep hidden from you.
That's true. Very, very true. So,
and we definitely want you to know that God gets all the glory in our life in general, but throughout this journey, we've given God the glory all the way, and we'll continue to do so no matter the results we get.
Yeah. If I find out tomorrow I'm gonna be dead in 3 weeks, oh well. I got an eternal home and a spiritual Father who loves me more than anything on this earth, and so that's all good. But we've been very blessed. I know there are some that have not. In the same way we have, but we also we feel like if we go to what God made and trying to do the best we can with what God made, then that's going to make our bodies healthier than anything that's been processed by human beings. So
if you have any questions about anything that we have said, or maybe we didn't convey our message well, ask us. Just leave a comment. I'm very good about replying to your questions. We will go over that again or answer it somehow, some way. But we just hope that this information has been helpful for you and eye-opening, and that you can make changes as well in your life and get second opinions, third opinions, whatever, if you've received some type of diagnosis that's not so great.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, God bless. Y'all have a great week.
Thanks for watching.